Hey guys, this is Ellie, or Olivia as I am known in the Latin classroom, and today I will be taking you through Book 6 of the Aeneid, specifically lines 411 through 425. Let's dive on in. Indalias animas quae per juga longa sedebant, deturbat laxatque foros, simil accepit alveingentainean. So here I start with inde, meaning then or from there, and then now I go all the way to deturbat, meaning he drives out. In this context, it is an active, indicative, third person singular verb, and even though it looks imperfect with that bot ending, it is actually present as it comes from the verb deturbare. So now we go to our direct object of alias animas. So together these words mean the other spirits, and they are both in the accusative case and plural, though alias is an adjective modifying animos, the noun. So now we go to quae, and quae means who, and it is in the nominative plural, as it is a relative pronoun modifying alias animas. And here we go to our verb sedebant, meaning were sitting, in the imperfect third person plural active indicative. So altogether, this is from there, he drives out the other spirits who were sitting. And here we go to our preposition, which is per, and we translate this as through. And then we have to look at the object of our preposition, which is juga, and its modifier, longa. So both these words are accusative, plural, and neuter. And juga, as the object of the preposition per, which takes the accusative, means ridges, but this refers to the rowers' benches on board of the boat crossing the river Styx. And then longa modifies it, and it means long. So through the long ridges. And now we go to laxatque. And laxat means to undo or release, but as it is a third person singular present active indicative verb, we translate it as he undoes, which sort of goes with deturbat, which is in the same mood, tense, voice, so it is also third person singular present active indicative. So it's like he drives and he undoes if you put in the que. And then here we go to foros, a masculine plural accusative noun, meaning the decks or the gangways. And then beyond the semicolon, we go to simul, meaning at the same time, from where we get simultaneously. And then to the section's main verb, accipit, the third person singular present active indicative form of accipio. This means he receives. And to this part's direct object and its modifier, ingentem aineon. Aineon is, of course, the direct object, meaning Aeneas in the accusative, and ingentem modifies it, also in the singular accusative. And this means great Aeneas. One could say huge Aeneas, but frankly, I think that great makes the most sense in this context. So finally, we go to alveo, the ablative singular of alveus, meaning in the boat, because I use the fwib rule, and I picked the I in fwib, which means in. So this would be he receives great Aeneas in the boat. And altogether, this would be translated as, from there, he drives off the other spirits who were sitting through the long ridges, of course referring to the rowers' benches, and undoes the decks, semicolon. At the same time, he receives great Aeneas in the boat. Gemuit sub pondere cumba sūtilis et multa cepit remosa paludem. So here we have the verb gemuit, meaning it groaned, as it is a perfect active indicative third person singular verb. This refers to the boat, which we learned from sūtilis, is sown or seamy. So sūtilis modifies cumba, which means skiff, and each of these words is nominative in singular, making cumba the subject and sūtilis its modifier. Now we go to sub, meaning under, and that preposition's object is pondere, an ablative singular noun meaning the weight or weight. So this would be the seamy boat groaned under the weight. And here we have et, meaning and. Now to our verb, akepit, meaning received. It is perfect active indicative, third person singular. And now we go to remosa, which means through its cracks, most nearly. And then to our object, which is multam peludem, both accusative feminine singular words, and multam is the modifier of peludem, which is our direct object. So multam, as we know, means much or a lot of, and then peludem can mean dirty water or swamp water. Those are the nearest implications of the word. So altogether, this would be the seamy boat groaned under the weight, and it accepted much dirty water through its cracks. Tandem trāns incolumēs vātemque virum quinformi limo glaucaque exponit in ulva. So we start this off with tandem, meaning finally, and trāns, a preposition meaning across. So trāns takes the accusative, and its object here is fluvium, a singular masculine accusative noun meaning the river. Now we have to go to exponit for our verb, meaning he sets forth or he lands, as it is a third person present active indicative singular verb. And to our direct objects, vātemque, virumque, they are both accusative masculine singular nouns. And here, as there are two quays in virumque and vātemque, I translate this construction as both the priest and the man, though and the priest and the man may be the more literal translation. And then these are both modified by incolumēs, an accusative plural adjective that means safe or unharmed. And now we go to informi, limo, which are both ablative masculine singular words meaning shapeless mud, or in the shapeless mud, as they are in the ablative case. And then finally we go to glauca ulva, or in glauca ulva, which means in the gray grass. Again, glauca and ulva are also ablative, singular, and feminine this time. So to put it all together, this means finally he lands, of course referring to Charon, both the priest and the man, safe across the river in the shapeless mud, and, don't forget the quay, in the gray-green grass. Kerberus haec ingens latratu regna trifauci personat adverso recubans in manis in antro. So here, our subject is Kerberus, a nominative masculine singular noun modified by a nominative masculine singular adjective, as is the way modifiers work. So ingens Kerberus, or huge Kerberus, and then our verb here is personat, which is a third person singular present active indicative verb meaning he makes a sound or he makes noise. And then I go to regna, the accusative after personat in the English translation, meaning kingdom or realm. And in this context of the sentence, personat regna most nearly means he makes the whole kingdom sound, or he makes the whole kingdom echo, if we are to trust our dear friends at Dickinson College Commentaries. And then now we go to latratu trifauci, meaning with triple-throated barking. And then we go to recubans, a present active participle, meaning reclining or lying back. And then here we put in imanis, so we get lying back huge, or even lying back in his bulk or in his massiveness. And then we go into in antro, the singular neuter ablative noun, meaning in the cave. And then this is modified by adverso, meaning opposite. So in the opposite cave. Together, this is huge, Cerberus makes the whole kingdom sound with triple-throated barking, lying back, huge, in the opposite cave. So this is interesting because it says laceratu trifalci, as you've noticed, I'm sure, which is triple-throated, and Cerberus can bark triple-throatedly because, as I'm sure we're all aware, Cerberus is the three-headed dog. So there's a depiction of him over here, and as I'm sure you can all guess, having three throats could make 3 times the noise as a one-throated dog. Qui vates orere videns iam cola colubris mele superatet medicatis frugibus ophobicit. So we start with our nominative masculine singular subject of vates, or the prophet / priestess, and go to the present active participle of videns, meaning seeing, and now to cola, meaning neck, and going with that we have orere, which means to bristle or even to shiver. So the priestess, seeing his neck bristle, and then we go with snakes, because as we see, colubris is ablative in plural, and thus I used the word with to translate, as in bristle with snakes. And then now we go to obicit, which means she throws, as it is third person present active indicative singular as a verb. And our immediate object is opham, meaning cake or morsel. It is accusative singular and feminine. And so now we go to soperatam, meaning steeped in. And then what is it steeped in? Well, it's steeped in mele, meaning honey, the ablative singular of mel. And then now we go to medicatis, which is the ablative PPP of medicare. This means having been drugged, and it applies to frugibus, the feminine ablative plural noun meaning produce or meal. So altogether, this means the priestess seeing his neck bristle with snakes throws a cake to him steeped in honey and produce having been drugged. And interestingly enough, here Virgil references the honey cakes that Greeks placed beside their dead, though he gives a completely new significance in the Aeneid here. Ille fame rabida tria gutera pendens corripit abiectatque immania terga resolvit fusus iumi toto quingens extenditur antro. So here we start with ille, meaning monster, or the monster, our subject, which is masculine, singular, and nominative. Then we will go to pandens, which means opening or spreading, as it is a present active participle. And now to our accusative neuter plural words, we have tria gutera, meaning 3 throats. Tria, of course, modifies gutera, which is our plural direct object. And then we go to rabida fame. So gravida fame, each are singular ablative feminine words, meaning with furious hunger. Of course, I got the with because we use fwib often to translate ablatives, and I felt that with furious hunger made the most sense here. So thus far we have the monster opening his 3 throats with furious hunger. So I'm going to skip quadruped objectum for a second, but I will get back to that, I promise. So now we get and, as that is how we translate atque, not but, as some might think, but rather and. And then to our verb, resolvit, the third person singular present active indicative of resolvere, meaning releases. He releases specifically. So now we go to imania terga, both being neuter accusative plural and meaning both meaning massive backs or immense backs, because Kerberos, of course, has 3 backs rather than the single one. And now we go to fusus, a PPP of fundere, which in this case means having been extended, and now to humi, which means on the ground as an adverb in the locative form. So we use the que to connect this to it, but now we're at ingains in the nominative masculine singular, meaning huge, and then we go to extenditor, which is a third person singular present passive indicative of extendere, and I took it to mean is stretched out. And then finally we come to toto anthro, both ablative neuter singular words with antro being modified by toto, toto meaning entire, and as earlier mentioned, antro is cave. So now to put it together, we have to include corripit objectam, meaning he seizes is what corripit is, but then objectam is interesting because it is a PPP and also the direct object, coming from the word obdicere, meaning to throw, and in this case translating it as the thrown, but then supplying object, like as in the object having been thrown, or the thing having been thrown is completely fine, I think. So altogether, this section means the monster opening his 3 throats in or with furious hunger, seizes the thing having been thrown, and releases his massive backs having been extended on the ground, is stretched out, huge, in the entire cave. Occupat Aeneas aditum custode sepultivadit quae celer ripa in remeabilis undae. So we're going to start with our subject, which is of course Aeneas, and now we're going to go to our main verb, which is occupat, the third person singular present active indicative of occupare, meaning in this case, he seizes. And an interesting tidbit on word choice, occupare can also mean to act before another can, or to make the first move. And in this case, Aeneas does act before the effects of the drug wear off. And now to our direct object. Aditum means entrance, even though it kind of looks like the PPP of adeo, so it's a little bit confusing, but rest assured it is an accusative masculine singular noun meaning entrance. So now we go to our ablatives, custode sepultu, and together these form a construction translated as an ablative absolute. So we would say with the guard, referring of course to Cerberus or Kerberus as we would pronounce it in Latin, and then sepultu means buried or having been buried within the ablative absolute. So with the guard, having been buried, but in the context, buried has the same connotations as somno sepultum would, so it's with the guard, having been buried in sleep, as he's been drugged with the honey cake. So now we use que meaning and I connected this to our nominative masculine singular adjective keller, referring to Aeneas and meaning swift. And here we have to go to our verb ewadit, meaning he escapes, as it is present. And then we go to our direct object in the accusative singular, which is gripam, meaning bank. And now we take a look at undai, meaning wave in the genitive, so of the wave. And finally, we see in remaeabilis, meaning not to be recrossed, or that which cannot be recrossed, that which we cannot return from. So in total, this means Aeneas seizes the entrance with the guard having been buried in sleep, and swift, he escapes the bank of the wave that cannot be recrossed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you can at least understand sort of these lines a little bit better. I had a really fun time making this, and, please like and subscribe to Magister Jones.